Hello, and welcome to a video all about theme statements. This is going to be the claim of our upcoming essay about the giver. Some people would call it a thesis statement. Some people might call it a claim statement. But we're going to write a statement that is revolving around theme. That's going to be our claim, our thesis, is around the idea of theme. Let's take a look here. So first of all, quick review. We've talked about this. What is theme? What is theme? Well, it's a complete sentence. A one-word statement is just a topic or a concept. A full sentence is a theme statement. It states the lesson, the message, the moral of the story. It's what reading the book teaches the reader. For example, the Three Little Pigs. You might remember this story. There are three pig brothers, and they leave their mother's home. They go out into the world, and they need to start by building their own houses. The first brother decides he doesn't want to spend a lot of time and money on his house. So he builds his house out of straw. Straw. It's basically a grass-like material, palha in Portuguese. And it's cheap, it's quick, it's light, it's flexible. He builds it in one day. Builds his house, moves right in. Done. The second brother decides to build his house out of sticks or wood. So he goes, the sticks are a little more expensive, a little heavier. Takes him a little longer to build his house. His house takes a week. It takes a week to build his house. He builds his house for a week and he moves in. The third brother decides to build his house out of bricks. Bricks, okay? So these bricks are heavy and the work is hard. And it takes him a full month to build his house out of bricks. And then he moves in. Well, along comes the big bad wolf. And the big bad wolf walks up to the first brother's house, the one made of straw. And he knocks on the door and he says, little pig, let me in. And the pig says, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. And the wolf says, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. So he takes one big breath. The straw is so flimsy, so flexible, so light, it blows everywhere. Down comes the house. The pig is standing there in the middle of all the straw, screams and runs to his brother's house, the house made of sticks. And he knocks on the door. The brother lets him in and they lock the door right away. Well, the wolf just missed that first pig, but he saw where he went. So he follows him and he goes to the house that is made of wood. And he knocks on the wood house and he says, little pig, let me in. Little pigs, I guess, at this point. And the pigs say, not by the hair of our chinny chin chins. And the wolf says, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. So he takes one big deep breath. The house trembles a little bit, but it doesn't fall yet. So he goes, I'm going to try one more time. Big deep breath and he blows. This time the sticks go crashing down. The pigs scream and run to their brother's house, the brother that made his house out of bricks. The wolf is recovering from his second blow, doesn't quite catch the pigs, but he sees where they run, so he follows behind. He knocks on the door of the brick house. Little pigs, let me in. And they say, not by the hair of our chinny chin chins. And he says, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. He takes one breath. Nothing. Second breath. Nothing. Takes another breath. Nothing happens. The wolf is so exhausted from all of his huffing and puffing, he lays down and has to take a nap. Now, in many versions of this story, he decides he's going to climb down the chimney, but the three pigs start a fire in the fireplace and they burn his butt and he runs away. Sometimes they cook him. He falls into a pot and they cook the wolf. Okay, whatever. Let's think about what's the theme. What's the theme? What's the message? What's the lesson? What can we learn from that story? So let's see here. Here's one. If you put in the work and time in the beginning, you will be happy later. Or if you are lazy and take shortcuts, you will regret it later. Two ways of saying the same theme, right? Don't be lazy. Put in the hard work. Okay. Here is an important understanding that some students struggle with in middle school. Themes are universal human truths, lessons that any person could learn. This means universal that they can apply to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Okay, let's think about that for a second. Anyone, anywhere, anytime, any human being. In 2022, in 1822, in 1622, in 22 BCE, okay? In Brazil, in Japan, in Ghana, in Pakistan, right? So let's take a look. I'm going to show you some theme statements. You tell me if these are universal or some statements. Is this a universal theme? Watch out for wolves. Well, that's definitely a lesson, right? You could learn from Little Red Riding Hood or Three Little Pigs, watch out for wolves. Is that universal? Can you apply that to your life today? No, you can't. Because not everyone has to deal with wolves. We live in a mega metropolis. There are no wolves here. I don't need to watch out for wolves. You could argue that someone who maybe lives in a more rural area where there are wolves, that might be the lesson. But what's the universal lesson? Let's look at this one. Don't talk to strangers and watch out for danger. Okay, this comes from Little Red Riding Hood. She talks to the wolf and then he follows her. Is this universal? Yes, because danger and strangers are part of the human experience. They're a lesson that kids need to learn in any community. Okay, you might argue that there's an uncontacted Amazonian tribe. Well, those tribes are getting contacted and they need to watch out for strangers in danger. Other things, maybe strange animals they need to watch out for. But yes, strange things and danger are a universal part of the human experience. Let's see this one. Don't let babies get released. We just read The Giver. Maybe you finished The Giver. You're like, the lesson is you shouldn't release babies. But wait a minute, is that universal? Can I apply that to my life today? No, because release is fictional. I don't have to worry about babies being released. I live in Brazil. I spend my summers in the United States. We don't have release. That's made up. But look at this statement. Stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. Stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. Could I maybe find myself in a situation in the cafeteria, on the playground, on the sidewalk, on a bus, when I could see someone who couldn't stand up for themselves and I might be called, I might realize that I learned that I need to stand up for them? Yes, that is a universe because defending others is universal. Yeah, that's a human thing no matter where you live or when you live. Remember also, quick note, theme statements are a full sentence, not a word. One word's a topic or a concept. I think we've got this, but I still think it's worth mentioning. For example, is love a theme statement? No, it's not. It's the start of a theme statement. It's the idea that you learned a lesson about, right? You could argue that Harry Potter, one of the central concepts is love, but that's the one word. What did we learn about love? Love will always triumph over hate. There's a theme. There is a lesson about love. It's a full sentence that's about love. Okay. Also, another thing people fall into. Theme statements are not plot summaries. They are the message or lesson. Let's look at an example. Is the first two pigs were very lazy? Is that the theme? Is that the lesson? The first two pigs. Can I go out in the world and be like, the first two pigs were lazy? I'm going to apply that to my life today. No, that is just an event in the plot. Just an event. Let's look at this one. It might be easy now, but you will regret being lazy later. Okay, it might be easy now, but you will regret being lazy later. Is that just an event in the story? No, it is a theme statement. It's the lesson or message the storyteller wanted to convey. It's more than just a plot fact. So, okay, you've got it. It's a sentence, Miss Griswold. It's the message. It's the lesson. I got it. It's not one word. It's universal. But are you ready to take your theme statement from something basic to something sophisticated? Yes, I am singing a level up song in my head right now. Okay, so here's an example of a simple theme statement for the three little pigs. You should always work hard. That is not a bad theme statement. That is a theme statement. Check. But it's a bit basic. It's universal, great. It's the lesson that I can learn from the story. It's a simple sentence. It's one independent clause. Okay. But, oh, it says simple theme statement. It should say complex there. Let me pause that and fix that. Okay, fixed. Now let's look at a more sophisticated theme statement from the three little pigs. When you are doing important work, you should always work hard. Ah, look what I've done here. Look what I've done. Look at that word in red. Look at that comma. We have recently learned about complex sentences. Complex sentences make a more sophisticated theme statement. Look at that. It's not just so that we don't make mistakes or so that we have sentence variety. It also helps us communicate a more complex sentence. It gives us more information, not just you should always work hard, but when you are doing important work. That should say sophisticated as well. So, for example, if you work hard, you will be grateful for that work in the future. I've done it again. I have a subordinating conjunction here, a dependent clause, followed by an independent clause. You could have just said you will be grateful for hard work in the future. Great. But if you do that hard work, you will be grateful for it. It creates a more sophisticated theme statement. Again, it's complex and gives more information. I think I have one more example. Although it's hard, so you're acknowledging that sometimes hard work is hard, but putting time and careful effort into your work will pay off in the end. Although it's hard, dependent clause, starting with subordinating conjunction, putting time and careful effort into your work will pay off in the end. There is a complex sentence with more information. So you're going to work on writing theme statements. You're going to think about the topics that we have looked at that this book touches on: rules, choice, freedom and individuality, feelings, memories, which we would equate to in our world the past, history, right? Knowing what came before us, experience. What are we learning? What did we learn from this book? What do you think Lois Lowry was hoping middle school readers would have learned from this book? How would this book have changed them or given them a new perspective, a new lesson, a new life lesson? That's what you're going to work on today. There's going to be a link on Google Classroom for you to complete that work and turn in your potential theme statements. I like to have students write a bunch of theme statements, okay? So you're going to not just hope that your first try is your best try. You're going to write a bunch so that we have some good ones to choose from, all right? Good luck. Happy theme statement writing.